About a month ago, my life completely changed. What happened was a Category 5 Hurricane Helene flooded my apartment with over 2 feet of water building up on the outside and about 4 inches of water coming in on the inside of the house. And when this first happened, I laughed at it. I thought 4 inches of water, that is nothing crazy. I'll be back in a couple weeks. And I packed up what I could in my car and I headed off to my mom's house. And I waited, and I waited, and I received no information from my landlord. But after 2 weeks passed, I finally received some information that they were going to start the renovation process. And about a week later, I was told it was done, and I came back to the apartment to find new flooring. But an apartment that smelled like mildew, trim that was peeling off, and visible signs of mold growing. That was the landlord's idea of renovations. And after I saw that, I realized that I had no choice but to pack up all my stuff in 12 hours, put it in a storage unit, and start looking for new apartments while living at my parents' in the meantime. In moving all my stuff in only 12 hours, why did I do it so fast? Well, months beforehand, I planned to go on a vacation, and upon arriving, I received a text message from my landlord saying that she was going to charge me rent for storing my stuff in her moldy apartment. Can you believe that? That is the world that we live in, ladies and gentlemen. But needless to say, Hurricane Helene has completely changed my life. It has taken away so much from me. Obviously, it took away my home and some of my stuff. But more importantly, it's taken a lot of intangible things away from me. I've lost stability, routine, organization, comfort, sanity, time, energy, relationships, control, and peace of mind. When something like this happens, you lose a lot more than you think you do. And in this video, I just want to take the time to stop and reflect on this experience and talk about 8 things that I have learned after losing so much, because I am sure that some of you are wondering how I've been doing since this has happened. Now, the first lesson is a home is the foundation for your life. Now, this might sound obvious, but the first thing I learned from moving out of my home and bouncing around this past month and a half is how important a home is in order to live your life. I mean, the home is like the foundation of your life that allows you to create positive routines, manage your money, plan for the future, maintain relationships, feel comfortable, feel stable, and feel in control. A home is like the glue that keeps your life together and makes you somewhat in control. But when you lose your home, it's like that foundation is gone and doing anything becomes hard and you lose all these benefits. When you lose your home, you lose control over your life. It's hard to do anything because your life is in limbo and your mind becomes more scattered. And what this experience has taught me is that your home is the thing that keeps your life together. And if you lose it, you lose everything. So be grateful for your home. The second lesson I learned is the simple things are the things that bring you the most comfort. So this past month, I have been going back and forth from my mom's house to my dad's house, living out of a suitcase and some garbage bags, which has made my life very uncomfortable. And something that I have learned through this experience of being extremely uncomfortable is getting comfort in life comes from extremely simple things. I mean, this past month and a half, the comforts I missed are simply a place to put my clothes instead of living out of a suitcase, a fridge full of food I like and bought with my own money instead of eating out of other people's fridges, in my own bed. I'm in my new place right now, and I cannot tell you how nice it is to walk to my dresser and grab a clean pair of underwear, instead of digging out of a suitcase and trying to smell which underwear is clean. But this experience has taught me that we often spend so much money in life in order to become comfortable. But the truth is, it is the most simple things that we often take for granted that make us feel comfortable. So recognize these simple things that bring comfort into your life and don't take them for granted. 3. Look into the future to save time. When this first happened, for the first week or so, I thought that I was going to continue living at that place because I thought it would take much longer to look for a new place than to hold out until they renovate the place. However, as I said, the renovations they did were just replacing the flooring, but there was still mold, mildew, and damaged trim in the apartment. And when I saw that, I had an immediate realization that I needed to get out as soon as I can because I could see what the future would look like if I stayed. The mold would continue to grow, but also rent payments would slow down further renovations, and I would feel resentment towards the landlord from then on. I looked into the future and I saw that if I stayed, I would be dealing with this for months, which would cause stress, instability, and resentment in my life. And I decided that I needed to get out while I could, and it taught me that when times get tough, it's important to look into the future and see what it might look like down the road. And if you can predict further complications, get out while you can. That way you will save a lot of time and avoid a lot of headache. Lesson 4. It's best if you keep your advantages hidden. Another thing this experience taught me is how cutthroat this world can be and how ultimately it is all about money. For example, despite how uncomfortable this experience has made my life and how it cost me so much money, my landlord didn't care and said that she was going to start charging me $50 a day to store my stuff in her moldy apartment. And I think that summarizes how cutthroat this world can be and how everyone is after your money, despite my struggles. She decided her struggles were superior. We live in a world where nice guys finish last, and people will try to take advantage of you in your weakest moments. And what this experience taught me is that it's best to keep your advantages hidden. If you have money and people know it, people will come after you more and try to take advantage of you. But if you keep your wealth quiet, people won't. Or as every personal finance YouTuber has said up to this point, looking poor is important. So keep your wealth hidden so people don't try to take advantage of you. 5. Your emergency fund gets you through tough times less harmed. In this channel, I talk a lot about having an emergency fund of 6 to 12 months of living expenses. In case something happens, you have money to back you up. In an experience like this, you realize how important an emergency fund is in order to get through tough times. I mean, this experience has costed me a lot. There's a lot of small expenses that have come up. You have to eat out more, use more gas, moving trucks, storage units, furniture disposal, new furniture. There are a lot of small things that add up to thousands of dollars, but because I had that emergency fund, I'm on the other side in a new apartment with minimal damage. However, if I didn't have an emergency fund, it would put me in a tough financial spot or even turn my life upside down. I cannot imagine going through this experience without an emergency fund. It would have completely ruined me. And so the lesson from this is having an emergency fund is so important because it's going to allow you to go through tough times a lot less harmed. Lesson 6. Money gives you control. So as I said earlier, my decision to leave that past apartment was because 1, mold removal wasn't taken seriously, and 2, the landlord didn't handle it well. I knew that if I stayed in that apartment that I would feel dirty and I'd have some resentment towards the landlord whenever I paid rent because of how poorly she handled the situation. However, the only reason I could make that decision was because, as I said, I had an emergency fund. That emergency fund gave me control over the situation. It gave me control on whether or not to stay, control over the moving process, and control over getting into a new apartment. Whereas if I didn't have money, I would be at the whim of other people. And you don't want to be at the whim of other people because, as I said, we live in a cutthroat world where everyone's trying to take advantage of you. And so it's important to take your money seriously where you budget, save for the future, and invest because it gives you more control in this world. If you don't control your money will control you. Lesson 7. Progress takes time. So this experience, from being flooded to moving into this new apartment, took me 46 days. This has taken a long time, and the reason it's taken so long is because I've had so much to do. I waited it out in the beginning, had a few events that slowed it down, worked on moving logistics, moved my stuff, searched for a new apartment, went through the process of getting the new apartment, and waited until it was ready. In life, we often want quick results. However, the truth is, progress takes time. Nothing happens quickly. And an important skill that you need to help get you through this world is patience. Just waiting things out. This past 46 days, I have had to practice patience in order to get to this new apartment, which is a very cool 100-year-old apartment with more space, high ceilings, and even an outdoor area. If one good thing came out of this experience, it is this apartment. It is a very cool apartment. I really lucked out. But this experience taught me the importance of practicing patience in life because progress ultimately takes a lot of time. Now, the final lesson that I learned after losing so much to this hurricane is that it'll happen to you too, and probably more than once. This video should act as a warning to you that this fluke experience that completely unrooted my life can also happen to you. Actually, at some point in your life, it will happen to you. It might not be a flood, but it might be some other type of natural disaster, a health emergency, or a financial crisis. There are so many crazy things that could happen in life, and at some point, a crazy thing is going to happen to you, probably more than once. And so it's so important to prepare for these events. Because when bad times do come, how you prepared when times were good will determine your outcome. It's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when, because crazy things happen to us multiple times throughout our life. But here I am in the new apartment. It is pretty bare right now, so stick with me as I decorate this apartment. And now I'm on the other side of this nightmare experience. But thank you all so much for watching. Believe it or not, you watching these videos ultimately allows me to keep the lights on and pay my bills. And it has also made this experience extremely easy compared to like if I had a normal job. But with that, muchas gracias, que tengan un buen día. Nos vemos, chicos.